Tanner here, and today I want to talk to you about a segment of your traffic that hits your e-commerce store that's worth 3 to 4 times minimum more than all the other visitor traffic on your site at all. Okay, 3 to 4 times more than any other visitor on your site. And that is the traffic that utilizes search on your store, okay? So what is search? Search is when you have the search bar, you type in, hey, do you sell this, or what am I looking for, XYZ, and hit the search bar, and then it returns results based on what is on your store, okay? We're all conditioned heavily to use search in our businesses, and actually just in our day-to-day life, right? You go to Amazon, what's the first thing you see? It's that giant search bar where you just type and you find anything you want, okay? Well, the same goes for other stores as well. Now, I come from a direct response background, sales pages, sales funnels, things like that. And when I was also doing e-commerce stores back in the day, I always considered search to be a necessary evil. Like if you have a lot of SKUs, you have to have search for those really pesky customers. So the thing was back then, we were like, okay, let's put search on the site, a search function, but let's hide it. Let's minimize it. Let's make it really small. Let's put it behind an icon or something like that. Okay, because in my opinion, it was a distraction. It was something that would deflect from the actual process of getting them through the sales funnel or onto the product, into to the product page and into the checkout. And I kind of carried that belief over and into our team and everything. And then when we started really getting good at data and leveraging Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager to see what was going on, we started noticing some pretty impressive statistics in that there's a segment of our buyers that was consistently performing at 4x, meaning they were spending 4 times more money than all the other visitors. Okay, and in some tests, that segment made up for 70+% of the volume that a store did, because they were spending so much money. That tiny segment of customers was worth more than all the rest of the customers together, which is a demonstration of the 80-20 rule in action. So we started paying attention to this segment, and we're like, what are these people doing that everybody else is not? Okay, and it turns out they were the dedicated ones who were finding the search function and using it. Okay, so we realized, we're like, okay, let's start testing this. Let's play with some different search options. And what we realized and again, we're talking about over $400 million worth of test results across over 30 different verticals and stores doing anywhere from $1 million to $10 or $20 million a month. Okay, so huge, and also stores that are in the few $100,000 a month range and smaller as well through our Business Accelerator members. Anyway, it was tested to death, is what I'm basically saying. And in every single case, when search was utilized, the customer that came out of a search was worth 3 to 4 times more money. So if you're not using search, you need to be, okay? And using search does not mean, oh, hey, my theme has search built in. Okay, now here's the thing. No matter what you do, only a small percentage of your customer base will actually use search, okay? If you get 3 to 4%, that's pretty basic, standard. But if you can get as high as 9, 10, 11, 12%. But you're never going to get a huge, massive amount of your traffic to use search. However, that small percentage equals some big money because it's worth 3 to 4 times more than anybody else. Okay, so how do you do that? The first thing is it doesn't matter if you have a lot of products or only a few products, all right? Again, we used to think if you have a lot of SKUs, use search. What we have found is that even if you have 2 to 3 products, it's still beneficial for you to use search, even though they don't need it, okay? Because again, we're conditioned as online shoppers because of Amazon and other vendors and things like that to do that. So, first things first, every store should have a prominent search bar above the fold, typically in the header above or to the side of your navigation, okay? You should also spell out the word search on the button. Don't use an icon. Think Homer Simpson. Don't make them think about what it is. Another thing you can do is you can, inside the search bar, usually it says search, right, in like a grayed out text. That's called microtext. You can take that and you can change it and provide leading searches. So if there's a certain product or product type, search bestsellers, search hula hoops, search fall fashion, search spring collection, things like that. Anything you want to inspire search on. And it's kind of like triggering the subconscious to start searching for something for the visitor, and it works exceptionally well. Okay, it should be very prominent, and you should definitely make sure it's on every page of the site, okay? All right, now you think that's done. No, you're not done there. That's just getting the search on there, okay? And honestly, the more visible and prominent you can make it look, every little bit of that will give you an uptake in the amount of people who use it, okay? Obviously, the more people who use your search, the better. The other thing is you need to program your search functions, okay? And the best way to do this, guys, is not to get a programmer, just get an app. One of our favorites is InstaSearch Plus. There's a bunch of other ones out there that are less expensive that all work fairly well. It's a great app. But what it does is you want predictive search. So as they start typing, you want predictive answers to drop down below to help guide their search. When you have that drop down predictive search, you also want to make sure you have a thumbnail icon image of the product with each result that shows up. You want to also make sure that your search bar is programmed to work with misspellings, the most common misspellings of the words, of the products. Make sure it uses synonyms, and you want to make sure that it's also, most importantly, hooked up to your Google Analytics account. Why? Well, this is what's really cool. This is another side benefit that actually is massively powerful that we didn't realize, was that when you search, people sometimes treat the search bar on a site like Google. How do I blank? Will XYZ do this? So they don't just search for product names and product titles. They search for solutions. They search for pain. They search for all kinds of things that they're thinking to get a result. So what's really cool is if it's hooked up to your Google Analytics, all those search queries that come in get cataloged into Google Analytics, and you can then review them, and you can see what's in your customer's head and in your visitor's head, and use that in your marketing, add it to your site, in your ad creatives, in your videos, all of that, and it will allow you to really tone and dial in what your visitors are trying to find on your store so they can get to it quicker, and you can present the information in the way that they're thinking about it, okay? Because the way you, as the vendor and the seller, thinks about it is not the same way that me, as the customer or the visitor, thinks about it, okay? So that's huge. All right, and then you can go back and, like I said, analyze it. Also, when you have it hooked up to apps like that, you can see what your most popular searches are, what your most popular misspellings are. You can see how many searches come up that have no result. And like, okay, what are people searching for that they just can't seem to find on our site? And maybe you find a product to fill that need, or you make sure those searches redirect to a product that actually does fill the need, but is currently not being connected. The dots aren't being connected between the visitor and yourself and the store. Okay, so there's so much you can do with that. All right, now the other thing, since we're talking about no result searches, when a search happens on a store and it says, sorry, we can't find anything, that's a generic, almost like a 404 error page. That page should be optimized. There should never be a page that shows up that doesn't give the customer value, or the visitor or the searcher value. So that page should be optimized and make a joke out of it. Hey, couldn't find what you're looking for, but maybe you would like this, this, or this, and show them related products, or your top level categories, or your best sellers, or anything like that would help you get those things working. All right. And again, you don't want to ever let the visitor have a disconnect. You want to keep them moving into the next phase. Okay, didn't see what you want here? Try this. And then get them back into that loop of searching for products and moving on. Okay? So, again, anything you can do to maximize the amount of visitors using search. Okay? So you want to prominently display your search bar. Don't hide it behind a pop-up, anything like that. Make it big, make it prominent on your site. You want to make sure you have some sort of search app hooked up to it to help you do predictive search. You want to have thumbnail icons. You want to be programming it for misspellings, synonyms, things like that. You want to make sure you're connected to your Google Analytics account so that you can collect all the data and make sure you can see all the search terms. Then you want to make sure you use that Google Analytics data and start referencing it to see how you can better optimize your search, better optimize your sales process, and better optimize the amount of people who can leverage and use that search. Because the other thing is you can optimize for the amount of people who use search, but you can also optimize the search itself and how the search works so that the people who use the search keep continually converting at a higher and higher level. Their conversion rate will be sometimes 5 times higher than your average store conversion rate. So they can be massively higher. And different visitor segments have different conversion rates, but this is by far your highest outside of your abandoned cart type of campaigns, or your whale or best customer campaigns. So simple little thing, very easy to do, easy to overlook, and also take for granted that your theme already has search, so you think you're good. Trust me, you're not. It's not good. Most of the themes can't do what I'm telling you to do. So with that, guys, I will catch you later, and make sure you get that search emphasized on your store. Also, if you want to get more great tips and tricks on how to dial in your store, watch these 2 videos right here. And then also, don't forget to subscribe. Click the button below and the little bell icon to make sure you get notified when I release a new video. See ya.